Welcome to the Sentinels of Freedom podcast we call Veterans Never Stop Serving. I'm Mike Conklin. Sentinels of Freedom is a national nonprofit organization that supports severely wounded post 9/11 veterans complete their higher education with its Bridge to Education scholarships. We've been doing this a long time, and we have some really great stories of the individuals that have graduated from our program, gotten into their careers, and are doing well. And that's what we focus on. Their stories are impressive and inspiring. And we're privileged to be listening today with you all to Samuel Schoenheit, United States Marine Corps Sergeant, who we got involved with years ago. I met Sam at Bethesda and Walter Reed. Bethesda, I believe. Sam, weren't you at Bethesda?
Yes.
Yeah, and we were really impressed with Sam and his drive and motivation, and now he's gone through college and doing well. And Sam, great to have you on. I wish I could be there to give you a big hug. I miss seeing you in person, and I got to get back to Tennessee and hunt you down and get a burger or something, just have a long talk or a long walk and see how you're doing. But great to see you and hear your voice.
Good to see you, Mike.
Yeah. So Sam, we a little bit about your entrance into the Marine Corps. One of the things that I guess I never asked you is what motivated you to make that choice to serve in the Marine Corps and serve our nation.
I've always been fortunate of knowing who exactly what I wanted to do from a very young age. I've always wanted to serve in the military, but I just didn't nail it down into the specific branch until high school. And my recruiter, Sergeant Bobbitt, came in his dress blues and was like, "All right, you sold me."
All right. Well, you did very well, obviously, in basic training. Ended up in a reconnaissance battalion, and then in the new Marine Corps Special Forces group called MARSOC, which is now called Marine Raiders, and which is I think you said something like 60 Marines tried out for it, and only 8 made it, and you were one of them.
Right.
3 tours, and you were wounded on your last tour, and a very severe wound, penetrating head wound right through your helmet. Did they ever tell you what caliber that was?
I know it was a 7.62.
7.62. So your helmet saved your life, and almost died on us, but you survived and fought it off. Basically, you fought death off.
Yes.
Do you remember that circumstance where you said to yourself, "I'm going to fight this. I'm not going to give up"? Maybe it was being triaged and carried to a helicopter or something like that. Do you remember anything of that, or did you kind of wake up in the hospital?
No, I remember everything.
Wow.
From what is broadcasted, what we know of head wounds, you get shot in the head, you're lights out.
Mhm.
And so at the moment of impact, I thought it was ricochet. It's like, all
Mhm.
right, I'm still alive, I'm good to go. Um, Still able-bodied, still motivated to get back in the fight.
Right.
But my bell was rung pretty good. And then when they evac'd me back to the States, well, let me back up. So I got hit, knocked me back down on the turret, from the turret. Um, my driver, probably in all likelihood saved my life. He just held me down, passed me up as best he could, and that I was still able-bodied, but the immediate impact was the lack of speech, the immediate loss of speech. So
Mhm.
I could think clearly, but I couldn't broadcast anything out. I couldn't vocalize.
Mm.
I thought I chalked it up to shock. So it's like, all right, I'm good to go, but it's just shock. And when they evac me back to the States, the when I got medevac to the fire base in Afghanistan, I was able to fumble the words together. Can I go to sleep now? And then I woke up 2 weeks later in Bethesda. So with a right side stroke, or mimicked a right side stroke, with still lack of speech. So that was a completely shock.
Yeah, yes, of course, I remember all of this and your fact that they had to take your big part of your skull out and then replace it with a plastic or fiberglass uh, part of your skull. I mean, you went through some pretty serious, um, tough operations. I probably 30 of them or something. Um, but you told me a story, and I remember this vividly, way back about when you were in Bethesda and you still couldn't talk, and you remembered your first word that came out of your
Water.
mouth. Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us that story.
Well, it's like, so I wake up in Bethesda, and a hospital that I later found out with is Bethesda, Maryland. My family is around me,
Mhm.
but still lack of speech, right side paralysis. I was in a world hurt,
Yeah.
and just coming out of it, it wasn't like a poof, I'm back. It was like a gradual, groggy kind of coming to thing. But it was, I was severely dehydrated because they hydrate you intravenously because
Mhm.
they didn't know, being a nonverbal, if I could swallow or not. So I was severely dehydrated, and so I mouthed the words. I fumbled the words, and just like, all right, I have just water. Priority is water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my sister took the night watch, or one of my sisters took the night watch, and my lips are all chapped, my mouth is dry. I can I can barely move. Just, I'm in bad shape. Got
Yeah.
tubes coming out of me. So I'm determined. It's one focused mind. It's like, get this word out. Water.
Well, the nurses there at Walter Reed Bethesda, all the military hospitals are incredible. And so
Yes, they
you
are.
got through that and you're in quite a bit of time rehabilitating physically and hard hit to the head. And that's when we found you and talked to you about what you wanted to do. And you had some ideas. And so we tried to focus on those and find you a good school, good college that we felt would support you. And we ended up with a small college in Nashville, Tennessee called Lipscomb University. And uh, they really embraced you. I remember Captain Hughes was the veterans um, representative there, and he had also been blown up in Afghanistan. And so you had some good friends, and then our good friend Dave Corlew and Charlie Daniels, and we had a great team, plus a couple of other of our Sentinels were going there at the same time. So you had a nucleus of really good people and students that knew who you were. And of course, it's a religious college and it's small. So we thought that would be the best place. Um, Tell me a little bit about how the students there um, uh, how they were with you, because remember, you'd been in the Marines, what, 4 or 5 years by that time?
Uh, Almost 9,
Oh,
actually.
9 years. So you've been out in the world, you were mature. Now you're going to school with kids just out of high school.
Right.
How did they react and relate to you? Because that you've told me this story, of course, before, but I want our listeners to hear this.
Well, they obviously gave me a wide berth just because I'm a decade older than most of my peers. It's
Mhm.
funny. I often say it's like, it's bad when you have a better relationship with your professors than your students.
Mhm.
Um, and I needed that small college. Just it was intimate and focused and just what I needed. I had a couple of civilian friends that were really warmed up to me, but most of my friends were veterans from different branches. So by the first year, I was still new to the area, new to Nashville, learning the area, um, completely focused on school as every student should be.
Mhm.
So the first year was a success academically, but uh, could have been better.
You felt a little isolated from the general population of the college students, the other students.
Correct, correct,
Yeah,
and that was thankfully Deb Hughes was our office was a sanctuary for
yeah,
vets.
yeah.
But by the time I was a senior, I I had tempered myself, and people or students would warm up to me or
Yeah.
had warmed up to me. So it was really quite the experience.
Yeah. Well, I'm very proud of it. I get that, I mean, they're just kids, most of them, and they've never experienced anything. But from what I understand from talking to Dave Hughes and the president of the school is that it evolved and you built trust with those students and you actually mentored a few of them. And I think that's a great story about leadership, really. Um, you didn't have to do all that stuff. You could have just stayed isolated and got your degree and moved on. But from what I understand, you were very kind to some of those young students and kind of walked at their side a little bit. Some of them, and not all of them. Of course, you can't. There's probably 600 students there, 1,000. Um, but I think that's reflects on the type of person you are, and even how you were raised. You were raised in a religious family, but I think it was the perfect place for you. And then to tell us, okay, we're graduated now. Now we're moving on to our careers. You went to work for Homeland Security in their HERO program, which was a lot of training, and they taught you how to forensically track down these child predators. Um, and that worked for a while, but you kind of felt like you wanted to move on to other things. So from that point on, where did you go? What did you do after that?
Well, going back to the Homeland Security job, day one of training is they told us that it was a burnout period.
Mhm.
It was a burnout job. It
Mhm.
was you could either last 1 year or 20, but
Mhm.
it will burn you out.
Mhm.
And so I really enjoyed my frontline office. I really enjoyed my coworkers. Several other hero techs were there.
Mhm.
We had a really good time, and just we were accomplishing the mission.
Right.
But internally, there were one major discrepancy, and just I was about I felt internally I was about 1 year out of calling it,
Mhm.
and so on top of that, I just called it early.
Mhm. Well, you made a
So
conscious decision, and that's again, you realize that, hey, I've been trained for this, everything else, but it really is not the fit, and it's a tough job trying to track these guys down, and the things they do to these children is just horrible.
right,
Um,
yes,
so you went off and started to do some real estate investment, things like that.
yes.
And
I purchased a couple of rental properties.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, one of them burned down in a forest fire,
Mhm.
which uh, it's
Let me read your statement because you gave us a statement. And it says, and this is Sam. This is Sam, total Sam, always thinking of others. Um, let's see. He said, bought a cabin in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Two kids playing with matches, plus high winds, plus dryness equals the Gatlinburg fire of 2016. What a mess. I lost my first cabin. However, a lot of people lost a lot more. That's Sam speaking. Yeah, I lost my cabin, but a lot of other people have had it a lot worse. Always thinking about other people. That's the kind of person you are, and I love that. So okay, off through that. Now you're, what are you doing now? You moved back to, is it Gatlinburg you moved back to? No, it's
Uh, about an hour east of it,
okay.
little town called Greenville. It's an hour west of Johnson City, an hour east of Knoxville.
Mhm.
So right in that corridor. Really pretty town. Small town that I'm used to.
Yeah.
So just like I've been creative on finding new ways to entertain myself.
Okay.
Um,
You're
but
getting to know people though, and engaging.
slowly and surely,
Yeah, good
I,
stuff.
I have a part-time job at a church.
Mhm.
Um, so that's getting me out there, and I believe that God created man of work, and if you're not working, you're not doing God's work.
Yeah, yeah,
You're not doing what you're created for.
sure. And what are you thinking about in the future? You told me a little bit about possibly teaching.
Yes, still am. That never lost the docket
Mhm.
or got off the docket. So I just need to get my ducks in a row here of pass the teacher's certificate course, and
Mhm.
I have to get my house in order, my new house in order.
Sure.
Just got a couple more projects, house projects.
Yeah.
So I lived in 5 years in Arkansas, and just I had finally gotten my last project done, and I moved. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, didn't I just do this?
Well, it's okay. You're finding your final, maybe this isn't your final spot, but at least you're moving forward. And I love the fact that you're still interested in teaching. Um, it's a special person that has the patience to teach young kids. And it's obviously necessary, but it's not for everybody. So I'm really happy that you found that, and you found a great small town, and meeting people, and so I'm really we're all very very proud of you, Sam. I mean, what you went through, and the fact you never stopped moving forward. And I'm sure there were some bumps and some depression along the way, and some self questioning and all that. Am I doing the right thing? Et cetera. And uh, you bounced it off yourself. You looked in the mirror and said, "What am I doing? And, I need to do better, et cetera." But you also had some great people around you to advise you, and that you could bounce ideas off of. So I think that that Lipscomb University experience was great for you. It gave some time to heal up, and again, having great people around you. I'm very proud of those people at Lipscomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, a Lipscomb alum lived right down the road in
Oh,
Johnson
nice.
City.
Yeah.
So it's a vet too. He's a vet too. So we get along swimmingly.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, Sam, again, your accomplishments in the Marine Corps are amazing. Your selfless service to our nation. You took a hard hit by doing that, and you survived, moved forward, and look at you now. I mean, there are a lot of people that walk around saying, "Woe is me," that have, you know, small problems, and uh, you're an example to them. Really, is to get up off your tail and move forward and find something to do, get educated, and be honorable, and help others. All those good things, attributes that you have, or character traits that you have, are really admirable. So I appreciate your time, and I hope to get out there and see you soon. Um, I know you still stay in touch with some of your Marine Corps buddies, I'm sure,
Yes.
from your unit, and that I think that's healthy and necessary. You never know when one of them's having a bad day, and just a phone call from one of his other buddies can make a huge difference. Um, and so I'm proud that you do that also. You are really an example to all the injured veterans that have come back, that are struggling. And it's just asking for help, finding the right people to help you, and making sure that they're helping for the right reasons. And then it's up to you. And 99% of the water, you carried it. We just kind of walked at your side, and we're very honored, proud to have had you let us into your life. I mean, that makes us feel great that you're doing so well. I look forward to seeing you again in the near future.
Absolutely.
And thank you all out there in Radio Land for listening. Please share this with your friends and neighbors and whoever else. These are great stories of success through a lot of adversity. And this is what we do at Sentinels of Freedom, is trying to find people like Sam who have the motivation and drive to move forward past, a terrible experience. They are certainly worth our efforts, and they're certainly they certainly have a place at our nation's table of abundance and opportunity, and we just have to help them get there. So thank you all. This is Mike Conklin, Sentinels of Freedom. Veterans never stop serving. Thank you.